Hello everyone, welcome to a new week. Got a little bit carried away on this one earlier and didn't do an introduction video, but it's fairly obvious what we've been up to. 95% chemically stripped this bonnet now from the outside only, so just this little bit remaining here and there. But for the most part, most of the paint has come off. Took 2 rounds of paint stripper. Reason we've done that this time round instead of using the rotary, it's just very, very curvy. It's just a lot easier at this stage for something like this to go in there with a paint stripper. Also, the fact that we knew that there was only one layer of paint, for the most part, I'll explain in a second, on this one, it should have come off fairly easily, which to be fair, it did really. So it leaves this horrible brown residue I've mentioned before. I don't actually know if that's a surface flash rust or if it's just a chemical reaction. I think, to be honest, it's probably more likely to be some sort of chemical reaction rather than rust. Regardless, comes off extremely easily. It'll come off with a scuff pad actually, but obviously we need to 80 grit on the DA for the rest of this one. We're not going to do that just yet. Briefly explain now what we're doing with this one. So, you may have seen previously, it looks even worse now actually because we've got the stripper in there, but obviously this whole seam is quite rusty, so we do need to get in there. Unfortunately, the way that these have been done, there is no easy way to remove this, what you would call a wing, I suppose, because firstly, this joint here stops and it's lead loaded there. Obviously, you've got the light buckets. And then inside here as well, you've got a lot of other things, panels, various different areas, sections welded and, not welded, sorry, they are sealed and bolted on in different areas. So long story short, it's not the easiest to strip this wing off. Ideally, we'd be able to get this wing off entirely. It's not an easy job on these E-types. We may still do that. I haven't fully decided yet, but at the moment, I think what the plan is, obviously treat all this top surface. We will most likely get this, I can't show you now, we'll most likely get the shot blaster in this mouth area. Well, I will show you actually because we don't need it in there at the moment. You can see it's quite badly surface rusted in here, and that is obviously all one big open area. Doesn't look good. So we'll get the shot blaster in there, take care of that area there. Likewise for the buckets. Underneath here, what we want to do is remove all this nasty old stone guard. Really not nice looking stuff at all, and again that is visible when the bonnet is up. Likewise for the back then, a lot of surface rust going on, same as the rest of the car really. So what we'll do on this again is most probably shot blast all of this interior, remove the stone guard like I said, shot blast the interior, and we'll repaint then as normal I suppose. We're not going to go to the extent on this one of removing all the seams, removing all the sealants, removing all these interior panels, because it is just too much work for what this job commands and what this job is in for really. There's not going to be any issues behind here because, again, like I said, it is very much surface rust. You guys have got to remember, 50 years it's only done that, so it's not exactly going to start coming through immediately from the back, even if there is the tiniest amount of rust behind those areas, which to be fair I don't even think there will be really, because they're not exposed. I think someone said in the previous YouTube comments it's a good way of describing things actually, but I can't fully remember the quote now. I think he said something along the lines of preservation instead of restoration, which is exactly what this job entails. Quite nicely, these bonnets actually end up standing up by themselves like you can see, which helps us out rather than having to make a jig or a stand or anything for it. You can see a little bit more now before I start what I was talking about before. Just all of this nasty old stone guard. We want to remove all of that. Obviously strip all of this back as well, get rid of the rust. But the main areas really is in the arches here, and obviously the front end of the car, which you can't normally see. It doesn't look nice at all. So we will just pop some stripper on there to start with. I think we'll go through a couple of rounds of stripper, then get the sandblaster out. Should be job done then. Hope for the best. Alright, excuse the light conditions. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm about to show you. It's quite late out now. I'm just waiting for the booth to turn off actually. He's got a job in there on bake. Anyway, as you saw in the previous clip then, so the middle section and all the painted areas actually came off really, really nicely. I didn't take any videos, I don't think, but it was coming in huge clumps, was just peeling off really, really nicely. So that is all stripped. It might not look like it on the video there, but it is. That's all stripped. As you saw, the stone guard section did not come off so easily. Some of it did, but most of it had to be heated up and scraped off. Literally just scraped off, as you saw in the previous clip. Not the nicest stuff at all. Remnants of it there still, look. But I would say we've removed, I don't know, 95% of what we need to. So shot blaster next. Unfortunately, the weather conditions have just not been in our favour this week. It's just non-stop rain. We are indoors, obviously, but I'd rather not be shot blasting in the rain. Not just the shot blasting side of things, but obviously once we've got this back to bare metal as well, we need to then get it epoxied straight away, and we don't want it in the damp. So it's just not been ideal. I'm not bothered about the flash rust happening up on the top surface because obviously that still needs to be treated anyway. But yeah, once we're done with the sandblasting, shot blasting side, we need to get it into the booth, into epoxy straight away. So hopefully we'll get some sandblasting done tomorrow, we shall see. In other news, really, really good news about the colour actually. So I was under the impression that the customer was desperate to keep it as original as possible in terms of colour. It wasn't that so much, it was more just because he was concerned about the engine bay not matching the rest of the car. So we are keeping to a silver. Thankfully, I ended up suggesting, well, I think it's thankfully anyway, I ended up suggesting opalescent silver grey, which is, a lot of colours are falling under the same bracket. So opalescent silver grey, opalescent silver metallic, I think. But you can see the contrast in the two. Substantially darker. Not a gunmetal by any means, but a lot darker than this. And I think I said previously in the previous video, I don't personally like this colour. I think it doesn't really suit the period of the car. And personally speaking, I think the silver grey is a much, much nicer colour for the shape of the car and for the period of the car. I think that's going to look lovely. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm glad I suggested it to him because otherwise it might have just been the standard colour choice. But thankfully, customer seems really happy with this one, so hopefully we'll be going with that. I'm going to start on the filling work soon as well. Alright then guys, a bit of a short video this week, that's where I'm going to leave it though. Lots of things going on in the background as well, as you guys always know, but in terms of Jag, we have had to stop here at this stage. Basically, I was hoping to have this in its epoxy protective layer at this stage by the end of the week. Didn't happen for a few various reasons. This is the first day where we've actually had a nice bit of weather. The weather has just not been with us for this week for this sort of work. We do reuse this grit, so you can see it makes a huge mess. But obviously in the damp conditions, if this gets any moisture into it and then it goes back into the sandblaster, it starts clogging up the machine. It just doesn't work in our favour, and it makes everything quite miserable, to be honest. When the sandblaster is not working properly, it's not the nicest job. When it is working, it's fantastically satisfying. Don't mind doing it at all, even though it makes an enormous mess. Mess can be cleared, it's not a problem. It's just the way that we've had to move things around the shop this week, because we are very, very busy with other jobs. We've got a lot of cars all over the place at the moment, so I have had to do it in the booth. We are mostly there. The reason that I've had to stop on this one is basically because my sandblasting visor has fogged up with all the sand and grit hitting it. I just can't see out of it anymore at all. It's too glary, so I've missed certain sections. There's quite a few areas that I need to retouch, especially underneath. But as you can see, we have made a decent start. All the mouth is done. We've started doing the inside and underneath. Obviously still front end still to do. That's how it was compared to how it is now. So we are getting there. It's going to come out nicely, this one, but just lots of little fine touches still to do. We'll pick up on that in next week's video, go from there. Then this will be going back onto the car, start the filling work on the car itself. We'll be absolutely flying along then. As always, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. Any questions, pop them in the comments below. I do my best always to try and get back to you guys. A little bit slower at it sometimes, but I will get back to you at some point. Catch you in the next one.